Hi and welcome to Hungry Eli. So today we're going to be making mushroom ravioli and testing that against ready bought shop ones and see which one Eli prefers. We will be making the pasta dough fresh, the filling obviously from fresh, which is going to be a mushroom and ricotta filling, and then create a bit of a mushroom mousse to bed the ravioli in for some added creaminess. So for the ingredients, we're obviously going to be needing mushrooms. It doesn't really matter which variety you use. If you prefer woodland mushrooms, use woodland mushrooms. If you like oyster mushrooms, use those. I've actually picked chestnut mushrooms and portobello mushrooms, A, because I like them, B, it's because what they have in the shop. So it doesn't really make a huge difference. We want to have some thyme, fresh, not dried, 4 eggs for the pasta dough, 400 grams of 00 pasta flour, and then 250 grams of ricotta, which is the usual size pack sold in supermarkets, some butter, 1 shallot, and 2 cloves of garlic, and that should be it. Oh, and some fresh parsley. So let's get started with the pasta dough, so that can rest in the fridge whilst we work on the filling. If you've watched my other videos, you've seen me do this before. What you want to do is you take the pasta dough, you take the pasta flour, 00 flour again, normal flour won't work, and you're going to create a little well in the middle, which you're going to break the eggs into. And then what you want to do is sort of start mixing the eggs in the middle, and then sort of start slowly blending in the flour. Okay, so as you can see, I messed it up, but that's okay. I'm just going to continue working it in. Okay, I'm out of breath, but the dough is done. So as you can see, it's like really nice and soft, it's quite bouncy, so that's how you know it's done. This is obviously way too much for a portion of pasta dough, for a portion of ravioli, but this keeps in the fridge for about a week. So whilst you're at it, just make a bigger batch, which is easier to roll as well. I think that 400 grams is much easier to work with than 200. It actually becomes quite difficult when you're working with smaller quantities, I think. So
a few moments later.
So put it in the fridge. Put it in the fridge, wrapped tightly in cling film, and then leave it there to rest for at least half an hour. And in the meantime, we're going to start with the filling. All right, so now that we are done with the pasta dough and that it's resting in the fridge for, again, at least half an hour, we're going to start with the mushrooms. So I've already brushed them. Basically, I've taken a bit of Kleenex and wiped it off. Don't wash them with water, otherwise they'll go soggy. Alright, so we sliced the mushrooms, which looks like it's about 300 kilos at this stage, but half of it is for the actual filling, half of it is going to be for the mousse that we're going to set the tortellini in. And then also don't forget that when mushrooms cook down, they actually shrink quite a bit, so this is going to significantly reduce in volume. Alright, so now we're going to start frying off the shallots as soon as possible before I go blind. And then once they go a little bit translucent, we're going to add in half of the mushrooms. Add a cube of butter. And then, I said, about half the shallots. Don't let them brown, just let them sort of go translucent. Then we add the mushrooms, add some thyme, add some garlic, salt, pepper, the whole shebang, and then we blend it. Right, so now that we're done cooking the mushrooms, to which we've added some cream, which look like this now, so about 25% of the volume was before, as predicted. We're going to blend that in the blender, surprisingly, which I'm going to do off camera given the size of my kitchen and the fact that I'm filming into a mirror. And I'll show you the result afterwards, and then we can move on to the filling. All right, there we go. So it's basically super smooth, really finely blended and almost over blended, that it sort of whips up the cream and the sauce a little bit, which makes it kind of very airy and light. All right, so moving on to the filling, we are going to put some olive oil in the pan. The second knob of butter, and then add the shallots like the first time. Let them get a little bit translucent and then just follow up with the mushrooms. In the meantime, I'm going to chop the garlic. I'm going to take 2 cloves. Because of the ricotta, the first one we used 1 clove. Here we're using 2 just because the ricotta is going to dilute all the flavors a little bit. So make sure that your mushroom mixture is well peppered, well seasoned, has sufficient garlic and thyme, and then everything should be delicious. This all up. I would like to have some bite in my tortellini. If you like it finer, then obviously chop it more finely. Perfect. So we've got the ricotta here, 1 packet, so 250 grams, and we're just going to go ahead and add that to the bowl and then mix. Add some fresh parsley. This is our finished mixture. Do give it a quick taste test for any salt or pepper that you might want to add. Bearing in mind that also the fact that you're going to add it into a tortellini wrapper is going to dilute the flavor a little bit. Alright, so now that the dough's been resting in the fridge for about half an hour, we're going to roll out the sheets for the tortellini. Whatever your setting starts at, sometimes the highest number is the thinnest one, or vice versa. You want the thinnest possible setting on your machine. On mine it's 9, and let's go and do it. Right, so now that we've rolled out the dough, which as you can see is nice and thin, we can go ahead and cut the ravioli out with our shapes. And the filling, we fold over the tortellini. We press down around it to make sure that the filling's pocketed, nice and tight, and then we fold it over again, pinch here to close it, and then there we go. Alright, so we have our little tortellini ready. We're going to bring some heavily salted water to the boil and just cook those off for about 2 minutes. You know they're ready when they float.
Wow!
Alright, so this is the end result. I hope you guys like it. It's a little bit more effort than doing the shot put ones, obviously. But you can pre-make the dough. It lasts up to a week. And once that's done, it's actually super quick to do the filling and just roll them out. So hope you guys enjoy it, and let's do the taste test with Eli. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.
Dun, 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 dun. Don't screw up my tune, V.
Ow, my knee's just cracked.
Come on, Eli.
Eli.
Come on, Eli.
Oh.
Oh!